I think it's time we actually talk about the podcast now.
Yeah, it's time we talk about the podcast.
Welcome back, friends.
Hello, friends.
It's warm in here.
It's really hot in here.
Oh, yeah, well, unlike Nelly, we are not taking off our clothes.
This is when I tell you get to the other side of the couch.
Yeah. Okay, well, now we're going to put distance on this friendship at the moment.
Okay. This is a little more comfortable.
Yeah. This is how you can tell we're only bros who can't hug.
It's literally hot in here. For a wine cellar, it should not be hot in here.
Yeah, they turned on the heating.
But anyways, last Halloween episode, friends. Sad depression. Spooky season is over.
I thought we were talking about the last one that we filmed. I was like, an actual good villain?
I know, right? And then there's this movie.
I
Okay.
hated this
If
one.
you haven't paid attention to the last 3 episodes, go check them out, please. If you have,
Also, like and subscribe.
please do, and check out the Instagram.
And eventually we'll get back on the TikTok.
We've been going through a lot. I had a baby, grad school,
I'm graduating this year in addition to that.
so lots of things. But anyways, this episode, if you haven't paid attention, Halloweentown 4, aka Return to Halloweentown,
Yes.
which is in one movie the downfall of the franchise.
No girl with a butt chin.
They got a different girl with a butt chin and thought we wouldn't notice.
I know. And then, like, even the story plot doesn't fit. Like,
It does.
it does and doesn't.
This is where, in a lot of franchises, you can tell they got caught up in their own success because they tried to make something and they took the heart of the movie away.
And we also got a lame villain again.
Another lame villain, and that's the worst part about it because the villain doesn't make sense.
Okay. One thing that I was kind of intrigued with, though, about the villain. What? Am I doing something weird? Oh, you were just shoving your arm in there.
Yeah.
Anyways, one thing that I found kind of interesting with the villain was that they were called the Seven Dominion.
No, they were called the Dominion, but they were comprised of 7 witches.
I heard Seven Dominion constantly throughout the movie.
No, because they were saying because they kept on saying there are these 7 witches that call themselves the Dominion.
Oh, yes. Okay, but anyways, made me kind of wonder if they were trying to reference that to like the 7 deadly sins or something.
I can see it, but at the same time, there's no other reference to the deadly sins.
I mean, I
It's
think
all for power. So if anything, they're all lust for power.
well, and greed, but
yeah.
yeah, I mean, you really don't see any of the other deadly sins, but
No.
it was kind of nice to let me just theorize in my own head if that's what they were trying to accomplish.
Yeah. Well, even starting from the intro was odd.
Yeah.
I mean, I like
the mom hated magic all of a sudden.
back to hating magic, which sucked because she made so much growth over the last few movies of being okay with magic. Grandma was only had like 1 scene in the movie. Well, 2. One was in a soup pot.
Yeah.
And then and Sophie was gone as well.
Yeah.
The love interest from the 3rd movie was gone. Again. We can't keep love interests, apparently.
Well, I mean, there was Ethan.
Problem with Ethan, aka Ryan from High School Musical, is they did not attempt to brew any lingering chemistry with them in the 3rd movie. That's where I have an issue, is if they wanted that to be a potential factor, they would have made him a little more relevant in that area in the 3rd movie.
Yeah.
He wasn't. He was attached to the villain. And it was nice to see him there. Don't get me wrong. But between him having the issues of the 3rd movie and his dad renouncing his power, all that jazz, it felt weird to push him as a love interest versus a redeeming friend. You know?
I just think because like I think this is just because of our experience at Whitworth, but like that's the most Whitworth thing to do is like, you're my friend. Sorry, I can't look you in the eyes while I do this. Okay, camera. You're my friend. Let's go on an awkward date. All right, here's the Mrs. degree. Welcome to Whitworth, everyone.
Well, and I think the changing of the actresses for Marnie contributed because
All
um
of a sudden, she became cute in a different way.
cute in a different way, and they paired well. The actors paired well together aesthetically to where a love interest could be born. But again, if you look at the third movie, that actress and the way their characters were in this third movie, it doesn't translate nicely.
Also,
Like it doesn't make sense for her to be bashful of Ethan.
yeah.
That was never an issue in the third movie.
And also with Marnie, like this actress isn't the same powerful, willful girl that we've seen in the previous three movies.
No, she has a lot more. It feels like it kind of regressed the character back into bratty Marnie,
Yes.
because Marnie was this ever pushing character of like just trying to bring acceptance to Halloweentown in the mortal world, you know.
And at the beginning of this movie, like Marnie, they're mentioning about like how, because she's like, well, why can't I learn magic type of thing? And they're like, because of what you did last, and it's like clearly like with this character, I felt like, she like had forgotten everything she previously did.
Exactly. Well, and like again, like going back to like the mom hating magic, she was like, no magic around Sophie. I'm like, since when was that a rule? That was never pushed in the other movies of no magic around Sophie.
Yeah.
Like it's this movie did not
It just doesn't translate well to the story that's already been built.
exactly. And the fact they took the family relationships, they took it out of the movie besides Dylan.
Yeah.
Like Marty's fighting with her mom, shocker, and stuff. Sophie's gone. The grandma's gone, which she was like a huge part of the entire franchise, and she's gone. But we see this younger version played by the same actress, and it's still not Aggie,
Yeah.
you know? Like she didn't, as much as Sarah Paxton did a good job with what she was given, she didn't match the energy of
That
the
we
of
had
the
seen.
of the characters as we know them to be. Because there can be good recastings.
It's kind of more like she watched the first movie and then like got the key points from the second and third one, but didn't actually watch them.
Didn't study them.
Yeah, and didn't like actually acknowledge the character growth with each person.
Mm.
And so she was just like, Marnie's a brat in the first, like actually studied the first one and was like, all right, Marnie's a brat. Got it. Okay.
Marnie's a brat that wants to learn magic.
Yeah. Be a brat, learn magic. Oh, and here are some key points from the other movies so that way you can just acknowledge them.
Mm-hmm. All she was missing was Daddy's plastic.
Yeah.
Like the Sinister Sisters in the movie, she could have easily fit in with them.
Yeah.
Realistically, she could have easily fit in with them. And it's sad that Dylan's. You could agree with me on this after what we've talked about the last two episodes. It's sad they minimized Dylan's character to just this dude with a hard love life. Second movie, he had an issue with his love life. Third movie, issue with his love life. Fourth movie, issue with his love life. That's all he was reduced to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad. I thought this was the first Halloweentown movie I ever watched, and it's as we've like been watching them and like really like
He had like a little bit of an opportunity in the second one with the dance type of thing.
yeah. But I mean, you saw how he was in the first movie. It wasn't about relationships. It was, oh, I'm the only guy in the house. So he had so in that movie he had his identity as the only guy in the house that he was basically trying to live up to
Yeah.
in a stereotypical way, combined with a very intellectual, scientific based brain that doesn't agree with this idea of magic and all that stuff. You turn that complex character, the devil's advocate of the whole movie, and you reduce him to a love struck nerd. And that's sad to me. Because he was always, to me, he always felt like Marnie's foil.
I just had a really stupid thought.
What?
And you know who I'm talking about. We'll call him Barnes and Noble dude on. They essentially made him a Barnes and Noble dude.
They did make him a Barnes and Noble dude. As soon
Um,
as you said it, Barnes and Noble dude is a guy that
was a part of our friend group.
back in college, and we don't talk with them, don't talk with him. We don't, there's no relation there anymore because
He clearly had an issue with girls, though.
yes, he did. He had a lot of issues.
Uh, Everyone does not like him.
There's a lot of people that don't like him, and he is a very unhealthy person. But I
But
wish him well.
yeah, wish you well, dude, but
You're not for us. But
you're not well liked.
And Dylan is a hardcore him.
Yes.
But I miss how in the first movie Dylan acted as Marnie's foil. You know, they played off of each other and were fully opposites.
Yes.
And they took that foil away. Like they still had the brother sister banter, don't get me wrong. But even though he was forced to come to belief with Halloweentown because he was able to experience it, it's still one of those things.
So what was like the not gonna lie, I kind of because I don't really like the fourth one that well, I kind of started disassociating from the movie. But I kind of forgot like why the reason he was also going to Witches University with Marnie.
It was so that way he could keep an eye on her. Had the mom, the way he put it was, mom said the only reason she'd let you go if I go.
But isn't he like a few grades younger or like
He's they said that he in the movie that he skipped a grade because he used magic to speed read.
ah
So he's like a Justin and used magic to be smarter.
okay.
The
I just
pro
I don't know. How was your experience entering college? Because for me, like my family did not care. Like they knew I was gonna go to school. Um,
my family had an issue with Whitworth and them being a Christian university because they were off-putted from the second day when, or from the first day when they were like, yeah, we're going to ask you to leave the campus so that way your kids can actually start growing as adults and be independent or whatever. And my parents always felt like it was Whitworth saying that parents don't matter in their emerging adults' lives.
See, I've always like me going into college, like I've had people tell me, like my teachers, I've had other, professionals around me just like essentially like when you enter college, you can cut off ties with your parents. Like they have no right to check your grades anymore. They have no legal obligation to you anymore.
Yep.
And so like I really took that full-heartedly and kind of like I didn't cut off my
That,
family,
that that was the thing. Like Whitworth was very, you become your own person and you don't need your family.
which honestly I appreciate for.
I agree because it pushed me into a much better spot in life. But at the same time, I feel like that push got too aggressive in my life and led to some decisions that not have been, should have been made, but I wouldn't change necessarily because it got me to where I am.
That's fair. I mean, for me, I've always wanted to be more independent from my family anyways. So for me, this was kind of like a nice
Mm-hmm.
going to college was a nice break from that. But like, I don't know.
I don't feel like they portrayed magic very well in the university very well. I mean, it was
Yeah.
very like
Like when you think of like a magic university, you think of like the School of Merlin in Rise of Red.
Yeah, like magic is everywhere, and
Yeah.
especially in a place like Halloweentown too.
Also, another thing I wanted to point out was like the fact that Ethan wasn't like his normal monster self.
Ethan wasn't a monster. He was a human. He was a just a like a warlock.
Yeah, but like,
He didn't have a skin suit.
oh,
He wasn't wearing a skin suit.
were other people like not?
That's think well, I mean, there were other people like you saw like the goblins or whatever, the fairy, pump people with pumpkin heads
Hmm.
and stuff.
I just like saw a lot more like human people, and so I was just kind of like,
Yeah. That's the thing. They kind of dumbed down like the initial diversity of Halloween Town characters that we saw.
maybe it's because because like that makeup is expensive to do.
It is expensive, but it's one of those things where they put budget over what they had. You know, like the first movie was very widespread in these characters. You know, like yeah, you had goblins, you had even the second movie, even the third movie, you had like the pink puffy troll, you had the nymph, you had the ogre, the gremlin,
What made them like,
the pumpkin heads, the vampire, the human caterpillar, the guy that ran the bus station that had the two heads, the abominable snowman, the ghosts, the dog people,
I'm sorry, is it the human caterpillar? Then I was like, oh yeah, that was the nickname we gave him.
the mummy, the like all those varied characters. And now in this movie, it's humanoids.
Yeah, and like it's very different from the third movie where they were like, you know,
See, the third movie, it made sense because they were trying to fit in. This movie, you're literally in Halloween Town. There should be weirdness everywhere.
yeah, and it's like it's just more normal than it like should have been or should have not been. Should have or should have not. Someone correct me.
Well, this movie did a lot of things wrong. And like, you know that scene where they're like, no magic's allowed and stuff. And they're like, he said like Decino something something. It doesn't, that's Latin, and it doesn't translate to no magic allowed. Not even close.
What does it translate to?
Well, Decino is decimal, so there you go.
So little magic?
No, that the other word has nothing to do with magic.
Oh,
Because magic would sound like magic.
that that is
It
true.
would say it would be something like magia, magica, something like that.
Fair enough.
And that phrase had nothing to do with it. I literally went back and went on Google Translate and translated it, and it was not that. And I'm like, it's clear that they really did not try with this movie. They just wanted to make it.
But what was the purpose of making it? Like,
Because it was a good franchise. They got caught up in their own success and they took away so many things that made it good. Like the villain was a random business guy,
yeah.
some random businessman with some ties at the university. It wasn't like the president of the university
With 3 daughters.
with three daughters, and one of them should have been London Tipton.
Yes.
Uh huh.
Yes.
That would have been great.
Apparently, going off of that plot, if one of them's London tipped and then you got two sisters left, at this point, it should have become a Cinderella story. Because then he could be like Lady Tremaine.
It's not a Cinderella story.
I know, but I'm saying, like, if they wanted to do something, they could have made it like a Cinderella story.
But with Marnie?
Yeah, why not? Ethan be her love interest, the one that captures her glass slipper and
You're going that just would not make sense as a Cinderella story in this world.
it's
Because
worth
we
a
already
shot.
have because we already have the family established.
It's worth a shot.
But no, this movie they made it just to make it, and it's clear where they really didn't care. I mean, even some of the things that happened didn't make sense. Like, remember that first class where they had the dude that told Marnie no magic allowed,
Yeah.
and they had to write a paper on the history of the mortal and magical worlds? Remember that paper?
Yeah.
Here's my problem with that. It was one sheet of paper.
I'm like, yeah.
It was a one-page essay on the whole history of the mortal and magical worlds.
That
And it took Marnie the entire period to write it.
I mean, realistically, I could see that because of the fact that you have to condense so much information into one page.
You can't.
Yeah.
You literally can't. You're writing it's like a dysfunctional essay where every line is a different factoid that encompasses an entirety of an era. And and that'll end up being a 2-paragraph essay, one for mortal, one for magical, and saying it started in this year, this happened partway through, this was 150 years ago, and now we're here.
And that'd be one boring essay.
It'd be boring, it'd be dysfunctional, and it's not exactly a fair representation. Like, I can understand it's like seeing a benchmark, don't get me wrong, but would need to be a better process for that than a one-page essay.
One page essays are not realistic in college at all.
Not even a little bit.
Like my papers on average are sorry, I have to burp again. Sorry, excuse me.
The classic 5-paragraph essay.
No, mine are just 2 to 3 pages, and then my final paper is always between 10 to 15.
I That is true, and I hate that jump so much.
Honestly, I don't mind it.
I've always had an issue with those long papers.
I
Only time I ever didn't was when it was during my class on Revelation.
I have a hard time on 2 to 3 page papers because it's too short, and like I'd rather be doing 5 because that feels like a good medium ground. And then 10 to 15 isn't too bad either for me because then I can feel like I can fully deep dive into my analysis that I wanted to and fully give my thoughts and opinions because I mean, I don't know about your music classes that you had, but or maybe your theology classes.
I never got to the level in my music classes to be to the side of writing essays and their hard academia. I never got to that point. Um, Theology, yes. Theology, that's all you do.
Yeah, I was like the School of Business, like it is hot in here.
God damn.
I wish we could turn the AC on.
I know, but they locked the controls.
I know. But what is it going on? Oh, yeah. The School of Business, like the professors don't want to read as much.
Right?
So they're just like, make it short, make it to the point. But honestly, that's like a good thing for them to do too, is like learn how to be concise with what you want to say.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But no, I think that was like the most unrealistic part of the entire university experience, in my opinion. Like, that was unbelievable to see.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
I should have not worn a hoodie.
I shouldn't have worn jeans.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know. This movie makes me angry. This time, like us watching through the different movies and like really like studying them, and like actually seeing, like analyzing the movies and stuff has given me a much deeper appreciation for them, and especially through our conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie just dropped hard. Like, we've been ranking the movies the last couple episodes. It's officially 3, 1, 2, 4 in my
Yeah.
book.
Oh my God, I'm having issues today.
Like, 4 sucks. And I feel like I've always known that it was gonna suck, but
Okay. I'm having issues apparently. I was like almost about ready to sneeze. And like I kind of wish we could end Halloween, like the Halloween series, on a good note, you know?
Again, I feel like if 3 wanted to advance into a series, like we were talking about, if they were to make a spin-off of the third movie into a series and have it end with the monsters, the Halloweentown inhabitants graduation,
Hmm.
and have show that cool event where it's like a werewolf's getting his diploma from the human world and all that stuff. Like that would have been such a cool way to end the series off.
Hmm.
This, I understand where they were going with it, or kind of desiring to go with it, but they took too much.
Out.
Yeah, took way too much out.
But I was just meaning, like, in terms of the podcast, you know, wish we would, like, finish spooky season with, like, a good highlight.
I know. It sucks that we're having another Rise of Red episode where we're just bashing.
But
I mean, there were good parts.
yeah, there was good parts, but
Like
in general, this movie,
as the plot dropped badly. And like there were like some cool scenes, like again, the special effects on the magic got upgraded. The portal once again changed again. My favorite scene is the book scene, like the library.
mhm.
That's my favorite scene.
I don't know. I think my favorite is like the mom talking to her daughter in like
The toilet.
the toilet, the bird bath, like
Yeah.
the sink, like whatever she could find while she's selling houses.
I found that I love that first scene where she's like, my nest is full of potential. And she goes, I'm like the realtor for this real estate. And the person goes, this is a dump. I'm like, damn. Tennis Point is a non-raked yard, a dump.
The mom, yeah, I mean, we've talked about this about like how the mom like goes back to the annoying mom.
Yep.
But like also like I was annoyed on the fact that she wasn't focusing on her job.
Yeah.
Like I get that, you know, you miss your kids because but she was more concerned about Marnie than she was Dylan.
Yeah. I feel like if they I feel like if they were to have redone the movie, they should have done a better job at like in terms of like the familial aspect of the movies, that sensation of empty nest syndrome that parents get, that should have been the familial interest of the movie, you know.
Yeah.
The mom's learning how to grow without their kids and keeps pushing on Marnie and stuff.
Because the mom's calling it like random times.
Very random times. Literally while she was washing her clothes.
I know. And like that's so annoying. Like here you are, you're becoming an independent adult. And like I understand it, you know, like I mean I call you at random times normally right after work. So not too random,
Mm-hmm.
but like at the same time, like if you don't answer, that's fine unless it's maybe something urgent. Sometimes I call you twice.
Yeah.
But um, you know, sometimes my family calls me while I'm at work, you know, and it's not a work situation or like, you know, an urgent situation or something like that. And you know, it's then you having to set boundaries and being like, no, I am doing this. You can call me at this time.
See, if that happens for me, my parents are normally like, hey, give me a call when you can. Because they don't know when I work, especially since it's so sporadic
Yeah.
for me.
But like, you know, having that communication with someone you're trying to contact is better for the child, especially in a college setting.
But Marnie's not doing that. Like we saw when Marnie first got to her room and stuff, she literally just took it off and threw it. She's refusing to talk to her mom. And it wasn't until she finally was like, Mom, I need your help. And the mom came.
And you know,
The mom's
honestly,
trying, but Marnie is not giving her any give.
and you know, I think that's kind of like the part of where the and you know, we're probably going to differ on this opinion, but you know, I'm kind of that way with my family in a bit, you know, where essentially my family waits until I'm ready to talk to them. So they like in general they'll shoot me a text, you know, and kind of like
I'm at a different point. I'm trying to rebuild my parents and I's relationship. So it's almost been like a taking turns type deal.
I mean, I still have a good relationship with my family, but it's like I'm so busy,
Uh,
you know, and
Well, and typically, like that's me. Like I'm normally the first one to call. Sometimes my parents call me, and if they do and I don't answer, like they're like, "Oh no, he's probably might be actually at work." Because again, my schedule is so sporadic that they really can't know. Like you work Monday through Fridays,
Yeah.
and so like it's easy for your parents to be like, "Oh, I can count on them being off on Saturday,"
Yeah.
and I could probably call.
Except my grandma likes to call me while I'm at work.
Apparently,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Like I feel like that aspect though of like emptiness, trying to be independent at college and balancing the relationships is what
This is when mom gets a puppy. Okay? This is when you see the parents get a puppy to fulfill.
I want to know why Sophie is not there.
Yeah.
Like they said that Sophie was training with Grandma Aggie, but Marnie never had a situation like that we saw,
Yeah.
you know? And I did like the callback to the second movie where Grandma was like, Sophie's interdimensional time travel needs a lot of work. And Dylan was like, must run in the family because Marnie had trouble with that in the second movie. I liked that callback. But again, it doesn't make sense why Sophie's magically gone. And it's clear they just wanted to have a reason for her not for them not to be able to get her back.
Like,
That's clear.
yeah. Well, I mean,
They try to cross their I's, dot their T's to try and fill the plot holes, even though it was really badly done.
yeah. And I mean, like, in reality, she may have had something where she couldn't come back to the movie or they just couldn't afford to have her there. And so they're like, but like, the mom has no kids now.
What was your perspective on this idea that Grandma Aggie used to be a queen of Halloweentown and that the Cromwells were a royal family?
I mean, doesn't shock me too much.
I have an issue with it because
It crosses some T's from the other movies.
the first movie, Grandma explains that um Hall like when Halloweentown was first made, like that was like like a group thing of like we decided to make our own world and stuff like that. That seems a lot more collaborative and democratic than
I
hi
used to
hi
rule the land.
hi I'm your I'm your former ruler. You
Yeah,
know, like it does those two
don't correlate.
yeah, the history of what we know from the previous movies versus this don't match up very well. And it doesn't make a lot of sense
Like,
given the whole thing was trying to get away from the
Halloweentown 4 just follows a completely different historical timeline than 1, 2, and 3.
very much so. It's almost like a multiverse.
Yeah, it'd be like,
It's the Cinderella 2 of the movies.
yes, but there's like no correlation to the history.
No.
Like, they could create a different Halloweentown series to make it relate to this movie,
Yep.
and then there would just be two Halloweentown franchises.
Yep.
And honestly, I feel like that would be easier than whatever the hell just happened.
Yeah, because whatever they did in this one, it just didn't work. Not
No.
with everything that we know already. Again, they made Dylan this love-struck nerd, and that was all he was reduced to. Marnie went back to being a bratty Marnie that was honestly just greedy
And honestly, Dylan, sorry, like,
and the plot running of like that amulet that can control people was dumb. That's
I think the mom should have kept Dylan and just had him go to a community college with, in the human realm and just stayed with her.
he was smart enough. He could have gone a full scholarship to anywhere.
Yeah, because like I think Marnie would have been fine by herself. I just think the mom was having issues, of
Or they should have made that into the series. I
it's
feel like if you changed it up, Marnie at which university, Dylan at a human university, mom struggling, Sophie training, I feel like that would have been a really interesting series that shows the different things that they're dealing with and learning to lean on each other.
and how the kids are growing into their own person.
Exactly.
But
That would have made a good series.
yes.
But again, they effed up.
What doesn't make sense though is like the mom's not okay with Marnie going to Witches University unless, she's with her brother. And like like it's clear the mom doesn't want her child to go away. So she sends both of her children away.
Yeah, that was kind of dumb.
That makes no sense to me.
Neither does her reasoning, because she goes, "I don't want you to go to Halloween because there's some very bad witches in Halloweentown." And I like, if I was Martin, I would have been like, "Yeah, I know. I defeated 3 of them for the last 3 years."
Facts.
Like, you're losing your reasoning, mom. Like, okay, you want me to go to college here in town where we still have murderers and robbers and bad people? Like, tell me what's different.
Like,
What makes this so unique other than you don't want me to go?
yeah, like mom just needs to accept that her child has grown up and is starting to learn how to become her own independent person
Mm-hmm.
and just needs to accept that and move on.
Yep. Well, like, so on this idea of a series, if they got rid of this movie and redid it as a series with the correct people and correct storyline,
Yes.
can you imagine this ending? Okay, the kids are officially fully adult and they go off and do their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Mom moves back to Halloweentown with Grandma Aggie.
I could see that.
Like, she's gotten everything she needed to out of the human world. Her kids are officially off on their own. It's time to go home. Be with mom.
At the same time,
Not be alone.
yeah, I mean, at the same time, though, like, I feel like she does, like, in the third one, though, we do see her appreciate magic more again, but at the same time, there's aspects of the human world, she definitely does like.
I just feel like that relationship with her mom could have been solidified back,
Yes.
because like they butted heads harsh on the first movie, definitely in the second movie. In the third movie, you saw some resolution. It's like, okay, like, yeah, I enjoy the human world, but there's no reason I can't have a human world life in the magical world and be with my mom and
Yeah.
have their relationship like back to being renewed, especially with how old grandma is.
Yeah, and, like, then that comes to the point, because I mean, I don't know how you are with some of your family members, but, like, Um, some of my grandparents were in our mid-20s now, and like we're reaching the age where our grandparents are kind of getting near that end of their life.
I Out of my 4 grandparents, one passed away when I was in 5th grade, so
And for me, I mean, I still have four grandparents. I would technically have six, but my biological father is an old man, who has passed away. But um, his parents died when I was little, like little, just because of how old my father was. And so, I never got to meet them, but when I look at my grandparents, I do have a relationship with in my family, they're finally starting to get up there in those ages where it's like you want to have good memories with them
mm-hmm.
and you want to make your lasting memories with them and their lasting memories with you
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, and especially since through the Halloween universe, Grandma Aggie's centuries old.
Yeah.
You know?
And so it's just one of those things where it's like they're in points of life where there's a lot of pivotal things going on, and Disney just did not show those pivotal points very well.
Mm-hmm. Because and that's where they really lost it on this movie, is because they got rid of the family relationships. They really did. Because Marnie just fights with Dylan the entire movie.
Yeah.
The mom's pushing for Marnie to talk to her. Marnie doesn't do anything. Sophie's gone. Grandma's gone.
Like the mom's pushing I think the mom was just pushing too hard to talk to Marnie.
At least from what we saw, because again, it was a movie, so the time is very accelerated
Yeah.
and stuff. But
And like I think, and personally just my opinion, I would have been the person to like been like, okay, like you need to stop calling me all the time. I get it, you're lonely, but like focus on your job, get some hobbies, and I
well,
will call you.
but also again, if there's no communication, what's the mom supposed to do? She's Like she has every right to
Go
worry.
to her grocery store therapist.
Well, she has a right to worry, but again, like I would be worried like hell if I'm like, what the hell is going on with my child? They haven't talking to me at all after leaving. You know, like it doesn't have to be much. Like, hey, like when they left, when they initially left, like, hey, just letting you know, I got settled into my dorm room. Okay, I heard from you.
Yeah.
You know, she had a personal wish list. It would have been a nice open up, mom, open up. Hey, just letting you know I'm like settled in. Sweet. Okay, I gotta go to do stuff. Okay, bye.
But then she sent off both of her kids.
She did send off both of her kids, and
She
again,
should have kept one of them home.
yeah, but again, Disney just really dropped the ball on this one
Mm-hmm.
really badly.
Yes.
They thought they could make it work and they didn't. Again, the random businessman that's the villain. Like even the situation where like Marnie got or no, they were trying to find Dylan, remember? And the mom was like, "Do you have a witch's glass?" And Marnie's like, "Oh yeah, grandma gave it to me so I could multitask." And it's her computer. It's like, what the no.
Mm.
That's not how that works. Like you can't just throw in a random detail and make it make sense,
Yeah.
you know?
This movie was just all over the place.
The random genie character, which granted I liked her. I liked the genie character. She was an RA, so I related and stuff. But again, it's just one of those things where it's like they had ideas, but they threw random ideas at a wall and made it work. But it didn't.
Yeah. It uh
Again, this is the worst of the movies.
I know.
Hardcore. I used to be so much higher for me because it was the first movie I've ever watched of the Halloweentown movies. And again, like Arrow actually realizing like it sucks.
Like if you watch the fourth one just by itself, it would make you intrigued to want to know more.
Yep.
Like it could be a good movie, but then as you go to watch the other ones, it makes no sense.
Nope. It doesn't make sense. We lose so much.
And then it just becomes a shitty movie.
Very much so.
So
Like the effects are cool. Don't get me wrong.
3, 2, 1, 4.
3124 for me. Nothing beats just how amazing they made Halloweentown look in the first movie to me. Second movie dropped the ball on how much of Halloweentown we saw.
You know, I think 3, 1, 2, 4 is yeah. Because the second one was just yeah, it was mediocre.
The third one's is the best one. It has a good villain. Everything's established, good drive, timeline stress, relationships. Everything was just
Going.
it was peak.
The first one like is what really got you into the actual franchise.
Well, and let's look at how they did with the sequels. So you had the first movie, it happened, lots of exposition, building the world, crappy villain. But then you had the second movie, it built off of the last movie. Oh yeah, grandma's now living at home, Calabar's gone, all that stuff.
Calabar came back.
What's going on now that grandma's not in Halloweentown? So it built. Third movie, after the second movie, portal's now open. Now what?
Yeah.
You can go back and forth however you want. And they built on that. Fourth movie,
What the fuck
the
happened?
only thing they built on was, oh yeah, the portal's open now, and a lot of people are going back to the human world for school. So we're just gonna make no magic allowed. And then there's Ethan. And that's it.
Yes.
They didn't really say, like, oh no, this is what's up now.
And honestly, I think removing the magic was kind of stupid.
100%. And that random idea of like, oh yeah, whatever spell you cast is permanent by midnight on Halloween. Like
That's stupid too.
it was stupid. And I'm like, if lots of people are going from Halloweentown to the mortal world, if they really wanted to build off of that idea of actually that acceptance being there, have more humans in Halloweentown.
Which would that would explain for more non-magical classes, but we're not seeing that in the realm.
No, it's all magical people. It's a one-way trip.
Yeah.
Oh, they go to the mortal world, and mortal doesn't go to Halloweentown. Do you know how many people here would love to go to Halloweentown?
Dude, like the occasional like real life Halloweentown we're ever gonna get is Spirit Halloween. Oh, so okay, by the way, Spirit Christmas is gonna come out,
I heard about that.
but not here in Spokane.
Figures.
The only reason how I found about this is because my job, we're having our items go into Spirit Christmas.
I saw some things online about Spirit Christmas being a thing now,
Yeah.
which is cool. I think
They're
I think they should call it Christmas Spirit. Yeah.
Okay, that'd be a good one.
Yeah, right.
The only reason how I found about that is because our products are gonna go in there. And they've only chosen 5 locations this year, which are all on the east side.
Figures.
But they're gonna test and see how well that works. And then if it works well, then they'll keep all of the Spirit Halloween locations and then transition it from Halloween to Christmas.
That'd be cool. But
Honestly, I'd be okay with that because like I need to upgrade my Christmas decorations.
it was funny because I was actually telling Megan this year when we went to Spirit, did you ever notice how there's no pop-up Christmas stores? Like Halloween time, like we have 2 different ones in Spokane. We have Halloween Express and Spirit Halloween, and like they pop up here for the season, then they go.
Yep.
But that doesn't exist for Christmas.
Yeah.
And
Now there's gonna be one.
conveniently, now after I say that, they're creating it. I'm like, huh,
Yep.
there goes my business idea.
Spirit was already on it.
But no.
You know, Spirit Halloween also sells lounge flies.
Yeah. But marked up even more,
Yeah.
which sucks.
That's why you like get them when Halloween's like over and
Yeah. But no, this movie dropped so many things. Like we're having such good ideas about what this movie could have been like.
this movie sucks. We don't like it, but it could have been better
It could have done so much better. What are your guys? Tell us what your guys' thoughts.
of how it could have been better.
Like we've said a lot of things about it, but like again, this is like the point of this podcast. Let's have these. Like, how could they have done better on this movie?
But I think in the spirit of giving you guys a horrible last end to this spooky season, we need to give you something to uplift the spooky season. Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down my spine.
I don't know what you're wanting to do with this. Like, I know you want to end it on a high note, but we didn't plan.
I know I do want to end on a high note, and it's we're kind of freeballing it right now because we didn't plan this at all. So happy Halloween.
Yeah, send us like I don't know, like tag us in your Halloween pics. Like
Get people to subscribe so we can give you more stuff and maybe throw in some Halloween goodies in the giveaways. Okay.
we got lots of stuff to give away, people. We're waiting on you.
Also to I did send it out, by the way. I'm sure because of Hurricane Milton, I am so sorry if you are affected by that, but also shipping will be affected by that. But Brittany, the winner, I just wanted to do a shout out on the podcast. But congratulations on being the winner, and we do have the items shipping to you.
Are hopefully there by the time this episode releases.
Yes. So please let us know if you got it. Sorry I didn't add a card, but we're giving you a shout out, so congratulations.
Yeah. If you want to see more giveaways, subscribe and follow us on Insta, because that's probably where the giveaways will exist, since YouTube has weird rules.
Yeah. I think we could also probably do it on TikTok.
Probably. But anyways, no, I don't think we have anything more we could possibly talk about with this movie. It was just bad. It made us upset.
Yeah. But happy Halloween.
Yep, and we look forward to seeing you this Christmas season with all of the new theatrical releases coming this year.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So, bye everyone.
Bye.